The other day, while showing a book about Razuvaev, I showed this Italian book and I got some comments about, oh, why you don't show games from that book and so on. So, this is a book that was published in Italy, I don't know when. The original book is maybe from 1980 and it's obviously in Russian. I will check how old is this one. So this was published in 1995. So from 1995 it's 29 years. But from 1980 we have 20 plus 24, 44 years. Okay, with that said, there are about, I think, 100 games in this book. The game number one comes from chapter, let's see, is chapter 1, which is called Steinitz Follower. Obviously, the book is in Italian, okay? So you must be patient and sometimes let me translate. Game number one is Duras Rubinstein. It was played in Barmen in 1905. It was a kind of match to probably decide who was the winner of the tournament. This was game number one, and Duras is white, Rubinstein black. Duras open with e4, e6, d4, d5, e takes d, e takes d. So this is the French exchange. Bishop d3, knight f6, knight f3, bishop d6. As we can see, sometimes they think that the French exchange is kind of drawish because of this kind of symmetric development. Notice that compared to the other videos that I've done up to today, I have raised the webcam. So let me know if you see better, okay? Okay, so castle, bishop g5, bishop g4, knight c3, attacking this because this is pin, c6, queen d2, I'm pinning this. And here it's interesting that he doesn't take, okay? He plays knight b d7. Knight e2, queen c7, I'm pinning this, knight g3, rook a, e8, rook a, e1, rook e6, knight h4, rook f e8, knight h f5, rook takes e1, rook takes e1, rook takes e1 check, and the queen takes e1. And now there is bishop f4. So here there is a comment from the authors that says the exchanges are needed to draw the game, to have a kind of equal evaluation. Here it was interesting if if Duras would have played this h4, instead he played bishop takes f4. Obviously queen takes f4, queen e7 and g6. Obviously black has a kind of back rank problem, right? So here there is a comment which says this defense was made with a good dose of cold blood. This is not the fourth example of a kind that we can find in Rubinstein's game. So it seems that Rubinstein was a good calculator and wasn't scared to play with some weaknesses and get rid of them when he was ready. notice that if he plays this, he will play this, okay? So it seems this was part of it. So what does white plays? Duras is also a famous player of that period. He plays queen d8, knight f8, knight takes f6, bishop takes f5, knight takes f5, queen c1, bishop f1, g takes f5, h4, knight e6, queen takes f5. I think Rubinstein has been famous for his endgame skills, especially rook endgames. I believe here probably Rubinstein wanted to go into the endgame because maybe he thought that he would win. That's the idea that I think it's possible, okay? Okay, so after queen takes f5 we have queen takes b2, bishop d3, queen c1, king h2 and queen f4, queen takes f4, knight takes f4, bishop f1. As we can see, maybe that knight is a little more active than white bishop. That's interesting. Knight e6, c3, king g7, king g3, c5, d takes c5, knight takes c5. White finds himself in a difficult situation. The threat is check. While if he plays this, black will continue with this, okay? With an advantage for black. This is a good advantage for black because he has a pass pawn. While this is still not passed because there are these two that are blocking it, okay? However, Duras finds a very good idea to which Rubinstein needed to play with the utmost precision. Let's see what Duras play. If you want, since you maybe want to learn about the endgame, especially with the short time controls that we have today, I would advise you to pause the video and think if what would you play as white. White played king f4, knight e4, c4, if you take, I take, and knight d2. And here there is an amazing move, which is c takes d5, double exclam. Knight takes f1. So you must know another thing. Botvinnik, one of the world champions, he said that the knight in the endgame is like a pawn. So maybe that's why Duras found this incredible idea, c takes d5, okay? Okay. King e5, knight d2, obviously is trying to come back, king d6, king f6. It seems that this line b5 would have brought you easily to the draw. However, again, this is a book that has been published in 1980 in Russia probably, and then 1995 in Italian. Don't know if it's totally correct, so please check with the Today engine, because in 1995 maybe they were not strong enough, the engines, to give you the correct evaluation, okay? So just don't kill the messenger. king f6, so we said king c7, knight e4, d6, knight c5, d7, knight e6, king takes b7, king e7, king c8, h5. Practically this move is to avoid that white plays g4, okay? So that's why it's very important. f3, obviously he wants to continue to push. f5, g3, a5, a4, knight d8, king c7, knight f7, king c8, knight d6, king c7, knight f7, king c8, knight d8, king c7, knight e6, check again, and knight c8, and this they agreed to a draw. This is a game that is honorable for both the players, and they after this they were called Congress, those kind of tournaments. They gave the title of master both to Duras and Rubinstein. The next game is Rubinstein v. Cohn, and we will see it in another video.